Sana is my next door neighbor's daughter. A sweet girl, all of 14, a very happy-go-lucky child. The other day, Sana was riding her bicycle in our block. She's been always the prim and proper type, so she was wearing a helmet and she was wearing knee pads like she always did. Suddenly, out of the blue, there's a reckless driver who hit her from behind. It's never happened earlier. She was hurt, her cycle was broken, and yet this car driver, instead of apologizing and asking if she was hurt, he screamed at her, "You came in my way. Roads are for cars. Next time, don't cycle on the roads." That's not all. Instead of blaming the driver for his negligence, I even heard the neighbors say, "It's Sana's mistake. Why was she cycling in the colony?" Here she was, bruised leg, broken cycle, hit by a car, and now the whole world was telling her it was her fault. Everyone was blaming Sana. Very often, we all get blamed. It feels terrible. And no doubt it feels worse when we get blamed because it was not our fault. And at times, the person who actually did the wrong thing starts accusing us like that car driver and starts blaming us. I'm sure it resonates with many of us tuned in here. We've all heard things like, "You messed up. Where were you? You didn't do what you were supposed to do. This is all your fault. You need to take responsibility." All said and done, getting blamed by someone can instantly leave us feeling unhappy and hurt. Some of us take it to heart and hurt more. This episode is dedicated to all those who take it personally when blamed and are struggling to find a way to resolve this blame game without getting hurt or pinged wrongly. In this episode, we will discuss why we blame, how we typically react when we get blamed, and how we should ideally react when we are blamed. I will also share a well-researched strategy focusing on how, when, and why to respond in a way that will turn the blame game on its head. I won't let you blame me for wasting your precious time, so let's roll. So why do people blame others? The answer is simple, because it's super easy. Blaming is a lazy way to pass responsibility. And blaming is human. When something goes wrong, our first reaction is we blame someone else for it. So when someone blames you, he's actually just shirking his responsibility. He's pushing the entire responsibility for a situation onto your plate. He's not looking at what he may have contributed. No, it's not his fault. He wants you to fix it, and he wants you to fix it now. Simple as that. So what happens when someone blames you? We usually have very typical reactions. A first reaction is you might just want to walk away. I used to do it many times because I used to try and avoid conflicts. Sometimes you think, I don't have the energy, I don't have the bandwidth to deal with this, I don't have the time, and so you walk away. But believe you me, walking away actually sends the wrong signal. It actually adds fuel to the fire. It enrages the person blaming you. At times, it also makes you look guilty. So, walking away, something that I used to do and it never worked in my favor, is a no-no. Let's look at our reaction number 2. We give in. Suppose we just want to put this to a pause. We say, I'm really sorry. I know, you're right. I'll be careful next time. Can I do something to take care of it now? Suppose you say something like this. What will happen? Of course, the fire will die out. The accuser will get off your back momentarily. But the accuser, the person blaming you, will now start to feel, see, I was right. She was actually to blame. So unless you were actually wrong, like that reckless car driver who hit Sana, don't say such a thing. So you can't walk off and you can't accept the blame. Now what's the third option? The third option is what we typically do, most of us do, is we start defending ourselves. Sometimes we get offensive when we start defending ourselves. You know the old saying, offense is the best defense? Is it? Maybe not. Let's see why. If you lose your temper and counter blame, you have tampered with the beehive. So boss, get ready for a real fight. Chances are, things will get real ugly. You'll end up giving them more ammo to shoot you with. So lose your temper and they'll find a way to use it to pin the blame on you. So then what do? What is the right thing? What is the way out? Now that you know what is the wrong approach, so figuring out the right approach is just a few steps away. Before we find out the best solution, I wanted to share what my very close friend and colleague experienced some time back. So my colleague Ria, she received an old flat in another city in inheritance. The flat originally belonged to her late mother. And this flat was lying vacant for the last couple of years. In that building, there was only one other flat. So, just two owners. And Ria knew that that neighbor was a nagging old woman. And so Ria always tried to stay away from that woman. However, Ria ensured she put an auto debit on the building's monthly maintenance charges and she paid them religiously regularly. One day, Ria received a fat bill in excess of some $15,000. She was shocked and upset and angry. The bill was supposedly for some tile work that the neighbor had done, and this $15,000 was supposedly Ria's share, a share she was supposed to pay without any information beforehand. Naturally, Ria was angry. She called up Mrs. Parker, the neighbor, and asked, "What is this? Why am I supposed to pay this? You didn't even check with me before doing the work." Ria was annoyed. She expected some clarification from Mrs. Parker. And many of us would say, rightly so. On the contrary, all she got was blame. "You don't even come here. You just pay basic maintenance every month. Staircase isn't mine alone. Because of you, the building is suffering. How am I supposed to be your assistant? Am I supposed to come and take your permission? You're a useless neighbor." Blah, blah, blah. Angry, agitated, Ria hung up. It was almost like her walking away. She talked to her husband that night, and to her shock, he told her that 2 months ago, he had paid another bill for the flat. He had forgotten to update Ria. Only last time, the amount was just some $100. And her husband, thinking it's an old woman, why argue with her? He paid up just to avoid a confrontation. So, who do you think was at fault? Ria, her husband, or the neighbor? What caused this blame game to start? Where is the spark plug? I asked this question in one of my workshops, and I'm going to share some findings, some things that people said. So first things first, most students said the neighbor, Mrs. Parker, is to blame. She should have taken approval and then started work, if she wanted Ria to pay. Some others said Ria's husband is to blame. If he had put a stop to this the first time, Mrs. Parker wouldn't assume that Ria will pay. Some even blamed Ria, saying Ria should have had more transparent communication with her husband. Who do you think deserves the blame? So clear communication is important. Mrs. Parker should have informed Ria before doing the work. That's number 1. Ria's husband should have updated Ria about the last bill. That's number 2. And Ria should have found out more things before picking up the phone straight away and asking Mrs. Parker. That's number 3. So if you notice, there are a lot of these shoulds. If these shoulds were actually done and we all did them, conflicts and blame games, believe you me, would be extinct. The sad fact is, they are not. They're a part of our everyday lives. We keep getting blamed again and again and again. So I'm going to show a solution which is a well-researched strategy on when, how and why to respond and turn the blame game on its head. Let's look at the when. So when you're dying to hit back, when you want to pay someone back in the same coin, the idea is you buy some time. Do not respond impulsively, because a response which is given impulsively will not let you think calmly or smartly. And many a times you'll regret why you said something. So when someone blames you, take a deep breath, soothe your emotions, try to understand the situation with an open mind. Be open to listening to what he has to say. And after buying that time and listening to Mrs. Parker's justification of the bill, maybe Ria could say something like, Mrs. Parker, hello, I've just received the bill. I'd be open to talk about it over the weekend when I'm better placed. When you do talk, after finding your solid ground, after understanding and listening patiently, that's your when. Let's look at the why. Why respond when someone blames you? What's the need to respond? Respond because you don't want to look guilty. Respond because you are not guilty. Respond because you're rational and you're not argumentative. Respond because that's the right thing to do. But how to respond? If you've understood the why and the when, how to respond? So the mantra is use I statements instead of you statements. I statements allow you to clearly state how you personally perceive and respond to a situation. You tell the other person how you feel, but you do not blame them for doing something or making you feel that way. So I statements can be an effective way of getting your message across because you're not offending the accuser. Let me show you how. So there are 4 parts of an I statement: the action, the response, the preferred outcome, and the benefit. So the action, when you say, when you did this. The response, so when you did this, I felt this. What is the preferred outcome? When you did this, I felt this, but I would like ... The benefit, when you did this, I felt this, I would like this, and that way we'll be able to achieve this. Is it confusing? Let me clarify this. For example, Ria could have said, when I received the fat bill all of a sudden, without any information, I felt upset and I was shocked. I would like to discuss this matter with you over the weekend. That way, I can figure out what's best. If you notice in all this, she has not said, you are to blame. You did this. You can't do this to me. So move from you to I. Instead, try using I statements. For example, instead of saying, you're wrong, you could say, I don't see it that way. You're basically showing your different viewpoint. Instead of saying, you keep blaming me for things you are doing wrong, you could say, I feel confused and I feel frustrated when I'm blamed for things I didn't do. Notice there is no you in this whole thing. There is only I. It will help the other person from feeling attacked or defensive. When they don't feel attacked or blamed, there are chances that they want to work towards a solution. And that's what you're looking for. However, when saying this, it is important to assert clear boundaries. For example, you could say, I'm not okay with you blaming me for this. Or, I'm not going to put up with it anymore. Stating your boundaries is a way to announce what's okay and what's not okay. If you've noticed a pattern of behavior in which you're often the target of other people's blame and you keep getting the blame, maybe it's time to look inwards. It's your self-esteem which needs a workout. Start feeling valued. Start feeling valuable. Work on yourself. Engage with people and activities that are great for your self-esteem. Make sure your friend circle is people who make you feel good, who support you, who champion you. We're all going to mess up at some point, but blaming others is not a healthy or a responsible coping mechanism. Sri Ravi Shankar has given the blame game a whole new meaning. He says, when someone blames you, they take away some negative karma from you. If you understand this, you will only feel happy about it. Stay blessed. Thank you for listening to this episode of Communicate 101 Speaking Writing Tips with Sarika Singh. If you want to be notified of upcoming episodes, be sure to hit the subscribe button and follow the podcast. I'll be back to share more stories, more life experiences, and more communication tips every Friday. If you want to reach me or connect with me, just put your comments in the comment box below or mail me at info@sarikasingh.in. I know you're going to rate and review this podcast, so a big thank you in advance. Stay tuned and think about what we talked today.